Hi friends! Today I wanted to walk you through my January reading journal spreads. As you can see, the journal has gotten pretty chunky and we're only 1 month in. I'm hoping this journal will last me to the end of the year, but we'll see what's gonna happen. If you're wondering, the journal I'm currently using is from Archer & Olive and it's a square size 8x8. I also have a discount code if you want to use it to get 10% off your next purchase if you want to. I'll put all this info down in the description box. Now, let's jump into the journal. If you've watched my 2022 reading journal setup video, these first few pages will look familiar. They're just more filled up now. First is my shelfie. I read 9 books this month. Were all fiction, which is why they're all colored in green. To differentiate between an audio, ebook, and physical book, I decided to use my gold gel pen. If there's dots on the book spine, it means that the book was an audiobook. If there's just simply lines, it was an ebook. And if there's no gold marks, it means it was a physical book. One thing I wish I had accounted for when I built this page was leave a space for the legend. Right now, it's all in my head, but a few years down the line, I probably won't remember. So I need to figure out a way to add the legend on this spread somehow. For my future shelfies though, I'm definitely keeping this in mind. Next spread is my A to Z spread, and I was able to complete C, G, N, W, and Y, which isn't too bad for the first month of the year. If you guys have any recommendations for books that start with X or V, please leave them below in the comment section. I always have a very hard time finding this kind of books, so this year I'm planning ahead early. Next spread is my subscription boxes spread. This has been so great at keeping track what books I get each month, and it helps me skip boxes so I don't get duplicates. Next, it's my book bracket spread. My favorite book this month was A Court of Thorns and Roses. The next 2 spreads are my book bingo and my Goodreads challenge spread. I was able to hit quite a lot of boxes on my bingo spread this month, which is always nice to see. If you guys have any recommendations for a book set in the future, please leave it down in the comment section. I couldn't really think of anything at this point, so anything that you guys can recommend me, it would be great. Like I mentioned earlier, I was able to read 9 books this month, which is a pretty good reading month for me. Next, it's my index page. As you can see, it's filled out a lot more than it was previously. The next spread is my Lifetime in Reading challenge. For January, I had to read a book that had a child protagonist. I read Number the Stars, which was a cute, heartwarming book. Next is my Instagram and YouTube tracker. I can't believe how fast both these channels have grown in just this month, so thank you so much for all of your support. It means so much to me to see people appreciating this reading journal spreads. Next spread is my first line of the book spread. I'm really loving filling this page out. Now we can finally jump into the January spreads. I decided to make my January cover page the same as my stats page. Some of the stats that I track are my rating, the year the book was published, genre, fiction versus nonfiction, YA versus adult, author identity, format of the book, and whether there's any LGBTQ representation on the book. This month hasn't been that diverse. I'm hoping in the next few months I'll grab more international authors and non-white. Also, I had no idea how many female authors I read. On the next page, I decided to write down the name of all of the books, as well as how many total pages I read this month. The first book I read this month was A Court of Thorns and Roses. I decided to make a Dutch door, and then painted a galaxy using watercolor, and then drew Valaris as well as the most famous saying of the book. When you open the Dutch door, you're faced with fan art from the book. A lot of these images I found on DeviantArt. I wish I could give credit to all the authors, but I don't have the links saved anymore. I absolutely love this book, and somehow I got very attached to one of the characters who later the author decides to butcher. So not gonna lie, I was pretty mad when I read the rest of the books, especially book 3. I couldn't stand the main character anymore at that point. The next book read was A Court of Mist and Fury. I use a mix of Simply Gilded Washi Tape as well as Villa Beautiful Washi Tape. Again, the fan art here is from DeviantArt. This was also a really good book. I gave it 5 stars. Even though I didn't like what happened, I can still admit it was pretty good. The next book was A Court of Wings and Ruin. Now, this is where my annoyance began. I had had enough of the main character at this point, and the ending of the book was just so stupid. I did not like it at all. I had very high expectations coming from the second book, so I gave this book 3 stars. The next book I read, if you can even call it a book, was A Court of Frost and Starlight. This felt more like a fan fiction novella that somebody on Tumblr wrote, and the author took it and made a book out of it. I was really disappointed in this book. I gave it 2 stars. I got the point where I just wanted to give up reading the next book in the series, but thank God I didn't. And I posted a journal with me video where I show you how I created the spread. If you're interested in watching that, I will link it down below. Next book was A Court of Silver Flames. This book was every single breath of fresh air I needed after the previous 2. It helps that it's not from the perspective of the main character anymore, and I really like this book. I gave it 5 stars. A lot of the stickers I used in the spread were from StickiiClub, the January subscription box. I also posted a journal with me video where I walk you through how I made the spread. I will link it down below. This is where we finish with the ACOTAR series spreads. If you've read these books, I'd love to hear about your experience with them. Anyone else thinks Tamlin deserves a redemption arc? No? Just me? Okay. Moving on to the next book, Number the Stars. I read this book as part of the Lifetime in Reading Challenge. It was a pretty cute book. I gave it 4 stars. The stickers I used here were from the Antiquarian sticker book, whereas the washi tape is from AliExpress. Next book is Year of the Reaper. I received this book in my Fairy Loot December subscription box. It's a very easy, interesting read. I gave it 4 stars. The stickers I used here are also from StickiiClub. I also decided to tape in the author letter in here, as I normally do. I find that it makes it so much easier to keep track of all the author letters that come for each of the books. I used Simply Gilded Halloween washi to tape it down. Next book is Gender Swap Fairy Tales. Not sure if it's because I'm not the target audience for this or because I already know the actual fairy tales, but I just didn't like this at all. It wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a different take on the traditional fairy tales, not just a legit gender swap. I guess the title should have said it all. I gave this book 2 stars. For this spread, I used stickers from StickiiClub, as well as the butterfly washi tape from the Notebook Therapy. This washi is so pretty. I could not get enough of it, as you can see from the spread. The last spread I made for this month is The Witch's Heart. I was a bit bummed because I misspelled witches. I added this extra E for some reason, and I only realized it too late in the process. So I decided to just ignore it and pretend it's alright. I have a reel on my Instagram on how I made this spread. If you want to take a look at it, I will link it down below. Overall, I really like this book. I wasn't super familiar with Norse mythology when I read this, so the entire book was new to me, and I enjoyed every single twist and turn that came my way. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Now, this is all from my January reading spreads. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. I'm always interested in knowing how other people rated these books. See you on the next video.